Hi everyone and welcome. This is a Microsoft Excel beginners tutorial that highlights the most commonly used Excel functions that you need to know. Let's begin with the sum function. Let's say you want to get the sum of these values using the sum function. You hit the equal sign, type in sum, then the sum function adds all the numbers in a range of cells. So you double click on the sum function, then you select the range of values that you want to add, and then close the parenthesis, then you hit enter. So this is how to use the sum function. A different way is type in sum, select the sum function, then manually type in the cell references like cell B3, comma, cell B4, comma, cell B5, comma, cell B6, then close the parenthesis, then you hit enter. This one also is the sum of this range of values. And when you highlight this range of values, you can check down here and see that it gets you the sum. It actually tells you the sum of the values you've highlighted, 155, just like you've used the sum function and you've actually found that the sum is 155. To show the formula text, you hit the equal sign, type in formula text, then you double click on that, then select the range, close the parenthesis. It shows you the formula text that this is the sum function. You can copy this down, you can copy this here, paste. It also shows you this is the formula that you've used to find the sum of those. The average function is actually one that is quite easy to use. Let's say this is the range of values that you want to get its average. So you're just going to type in equal sign, type average, then you're told that average, it actually returns the average arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be numbers or names, arrays or references that contain numbers. So you double click, then select the range of values that you want their average, close the parenthesis, then you hit enter. So this is the average of these values. Notice that when you select these cells, when you highlight these cells, Excel actually auto-populates or auto-calculates the average here, and then tells you that the average of the selected cells is actually 65.5. just like the formula, the function that we have used here. So we can use the formula text to actually show just the formula that we've used to find this value here, close the parenthesis, and then hit enter. It's actually the average of these numbers. The other way to use average function, type in average, is actually select average, then you can select that value, comma, that, comma, that, comma, that. Then maybe you want just to get the values of those four, close the parenthesis, hit enter. So this is let me copy the formula text here, paste. So this is the average for the four numbers. The average function is quite easy, as simple as that. The other function I want us to look at is the count function. The count function, let's just type in the count first, and then it tells you that it counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. So if you double click on this, select this range of values, close the parentheses, hit enter, it tells you that there are 8 number of selected cells that contain data. Remember, it has to be a number. Like if you use the count function, say count, and then you're selecting a range of cells that do not have numbers, it returns 0 to say that it doesn't see any number there. So you can show the formula text for that. Formula text for this cell reference, close the parenthesis, hit enter. So we are counting counting the number of cells in this range, that contains numbers. Yep. Count A function, so the count A function is a function that counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So this cell, this function C, select this range of cells, close the parenthesis. This function will count in this range of cells. In this range of cells, it will count the number of cells that are not empty. So you hit enter. It tells you that there are 16. In that range of cells that you had selected, there are 16 cells that are not empty. Count blank is another Excel function. Count blank is another Excel function that counts the number of empty cells in a specified range of cells. So let's say from this place to here, close the parenthesis, it will count the number of blank cells in this range, like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So hit enter. That's 5. Yes. The SUMIF function, it helps us to find the sum of a certain element in a list rather than the sum of all of those numbers in that list. Like in this list here, we can get the sum of total cells made by cat. So to do that, we can use the SUMIF formula. Select the range, that is the range, comma, the criteria is Kate, cell B16, comma, the sum range, and then close the parentheses, hit enter. So this is to tell you that Kate made a total of $22,300 in sales. This is actually the sum of 7,500, 7,000, and 7,800. So that is the sum A function. Notice that if you change this value to Kim, it calculates the total sales made by Kim. And if you change it to say Karen, it calculates the total sales made by Karen to 5,800. You can counter check. That's the formula for the SUMIF formula. Yes. COUNTIF function counts the number of cells within a range that meet the given condition. It actually counts what you've asked it to count. It counts a selection from a range. Let's say this is the range of the people, that the sales executives, Kim, Kate, Karen, and so on. So you want to use that formula COUNTIF. So you key in the equal sign, COUNTIF. It counts the number of cells within the range that meets a given condition. So the range is this, comma, criteria, Karen. Then close the parenthesis, hit enter. So this is to tell you that Karen appears twice on this list. Let's type in Kim here and see how many times Kim appears on that list. Kim also appears twice on this list. And who else is there? Kate. Let's type in Kate and see Kate appears how many times. Kate appears 3 times. Kate 1, 2, and 3. So that is how to use the COUNTIF function. So let's look at the concatenate function as well. So the concatenate function, let's just type it in and see how to use it. Concatenate selected, is selected, it joins several text strings into one text string. Like it can join Mark and Anthony into one word. So instead of having a first name and last name, we can have a full name. So you double click on it, select that text, then the text you want to join, that one, and comma, and that one, then close the parentheses, hit enter. Notice that the names there is no space between the names. So if you want to, you can drag this down so that the formula is copied down. So if you want to have space between the names, you're still going to type in concatenate, select that name, then comma, then use quotation marks, space, another quotation mark, then comma, then select the last name, then close the parentheses, then hit enter. Then you see there is that space between names. Then drag that formula down, then you can see there is spaces between the names. Another function you need to know is the VLOOKUP function. To use this function, you need a lookup table. Let's say we want to look up Jadon Sancho's details from this lookup table. So let's look up his email address. The lookup value is whatever we look up in this cell B13. The table array is the lookup table. Column index number is 2. That is to say the email address details fall in column 2 of the table array. Then comma, then just select false to give us an exact match. Then close the parentheses. Then you'd hit enter. You can see it looks up Jadon Sancho's email. Let's look up his phone number. Type in VLOOKUP. The lookup value, this cell, comma, the table array, comma, column index number, phone number is column 3, comma, select the false, close parenthesis, hit equal sign. The same way, type in VLOOKUP, select VLOOKUP, the lookup value is this cell here, comma, table array, that is the table array, comma, the column index for bank account is column 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's column 4, comma, select false match, close the parenthesis, hit enter. For the bank name, VLOOKUP, select VLOOKUP, the lookup value is the contents of that cell. The table array is this range. This is the table array, the lookup table, comma, bank name is in column number, bank name is column number 5, then comma, select exact match, close the parenthesis, hit enter. For the gross monthly salary, type in VLOOKUP, select VLOOKUP, the lookup value is the contents of this cell, comma, the table array, comma, the column index number 6, comma, select false for an exact match, close the parenthesis, hit enter. You can see Jadon Sancho's email is this one, Jadon Sancho's phone number is this one, his bank account. So the VLOOKUP function actually looks up the values from the table and then it highlights here according to your instructions what you want to see here. Notice that when you change this value to say Mason Mount, hit enter, it changes. So it automatically updates the details for Mason Mount. So instead of typing in different names in this cell B13, we can make use of a drop down list tool. To add a drop down list tool to this cell, you click on the data tab, go to data validation, click on data validation. In the data validation criteria, click on list. You can type in the list, or just select the range of list you want. Just select the range of the list we want. We want the list of these names, and then you click again, and then you hit OK. It adds a drop down. So in this case now we can select any name in here, say Anthony Marshall, and it automatically updates the rest of the details. So because these cells from here to here, these cells are making use of the VLOOKUP function. We can go ahead and maybe select a different name, let's say Dean Henderson. It automatically updates the rest of the details. So you can see this drop down list tool makes it interesting to use